Hello Imogen, hello Josh, Granny here again, and as you can see I'm up in the summer house and it's quite nice outside but it's a bit breezy, so I've got the door closed and I'm reading lots of nice cosy types of books today. So the one I've chosen for you, you will know very well I think, but it's got lovely pictures, so I thought I would read it to you because the best stories are often the ones we know and that we love. So this story is called The Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. There he is. And it's by somebody called Jill Tomlinson. And the illustrator is a man called Paul Howard, who Granny hasn't heard of, but really nice pictures. Plop was a baby barn owl. He lived with his mummy and daddy at the top of a tall tree. Plop was the same as every baby barn owl that has ever been, except for one thing. He was afraid of the dark. That's not very good, is it? Because owls are night birds. Here's Plop. I don't want to be a night bird, Plop told his mummy. Dark is nasty. You don't know that, she said. You'd better find out about the dark before you make up your mind. Look, there's a little boy down there. Go and ask him. So Plop, who was quite new at flying, took a deep breath and flew down. There he is, leaving his mummy. Oh! cried the little boy as Plop landed with a somersault. Hello, said Plop. I've come to find out about the dark. Oh, said the boy, dark is exciting, especially tonight. We're going to have fireworks. Does it have to be dark? Asked Plop. Of course, replied the boy. You can't see the fireworks unless it's dark. Look out for them later. Well, said Mrs. Barn Owl when Plop arrived back at the nest. The little boy says dark is exciting, said Plop. I still do not like it at all, but I will watch the fireworks if you will sit by me. We will sit by you, said his mummy and daddy. So that is what they did. And there's Plop talking to the little boy. He looks a nice little boy. When the very last firework had faded away, Mr. Barn Owl went hunting. All night he brought food back to Plop until daylight came and it was time for bed. There they are, look, gorgeous owls, Mummy, Daddy and Plop. Halfway through the morning, Plop woke up. Mrs. Barn Owl opened one bleary eye. Plop, dear, she said, why don't you find out some more about the dark? Go and ask that old lady in the deck chair. I think she wanted to get rid of him. There's the lovely old lady in the deck chair. Plop landed by the old lady with a thump. Hello, he said. I've come to ask you about the dark. I want to go hunting with Daddy, but he always goes hunting in the dark and I'm afraid of it. How very odd, said the lady. Now I love the dark. Dark is kind. I can forget that I am old and I can sit and remember all the good times. I haven't much to remember yet, said Plop. I'm rather new, you see. Well, said his mummy, as Plop flew up to the landing branch. The old lady says dark is kind, said Plop, but I still do not like it at all. That evening, when both his parents went hunting, Plop closed his eyes and he tried to remember something to remember. Suddenly, he heard a happy shout. And Plop forgot about being afraid of the dark. He peered through the leaves and he saw a boy sitting by a fire. Plop flew down, landing with an enormous thud. And there's Plop with his eyes closed. And there's the boy. Hello, said Plop. I've come to see what's going on. I'm guarding the campfire, said the boy. The others have gone to play games in the dark. Lucky things. Do you like the dark? Asked Plop. It's super, the boy replied. Dark is fun. We're going to make cocoa and sing round the fire. Would you like to stay? So Plop stayed. The boys sang until the fire had sunk to a red glow. And then Plop said goodbye and flew home. And here he is with the boys. Can you see him up in the corner there? Well, said his mummy, where have you been? I met a boy and he says dark is fun. I still do not like it at all, but I think campfires are super. Plop woke up the next afternoon and he went out onto the landing branch. Plop, said Mrs. Barn Owl, go and find out about the dark again. See what that little girl down there thinks about it. You can see the little girl up in the top picture. Plop landed by the little girl with a bounce. Hello, he said. I've come to ask about the dark. Do you like it? Of course I do, she replied. Dark is necessary. Without the dark, Father Christmas wouldn't come. You'd have an empty stocking on Christmas Day. Oh, I don't have a stocking, said Plop. So the little girl took off her Wellington and gave him her sock. Here, she said, hang it up on Christmas Eve. Oh, thank you, said Plop, and returned to his mummy. And there he is, look, with the sock. Isn't that brilliant? Coming back with the sock in his mouth or in his beak. Well, said Mrs. Barn Owl, the little girl says dark is necessary because of Father Christmas coming, Plop said. I still do not like it at all, but I am going to hang up this sock on Christmas Eve. Plop slept nearly all day. By evening, he was wide awake. It's getting up time, Daddy, he shouted, butting his father in the tummy. Mr. Barn Owl looked up at the sky. Not quite yet, Plop, he said. Wait till it's dark. There he is, I think, giving his dad a prod in the tummy. You see. That night, Plop watched his parents take off to go hunting again. Looking through the leaves, he saw a man standing on the ground below. So Plop flew down, landing with a gentle bump. Heavens, cried the man, you startled me. Hello, said Plop. What's that you've got there? A telescope, said the man, for looking at the stars and planets at night. I don't like the dark very much, said Plop. Really, said the man, but dark is wonderful. I'll show you. The man with the telescope showed Plop lots of stars and how they made patterns in the sky. He pointed out the bright pole star, the plough, the dog star, and Orion, the great hunter. And here's the night sky. A lovely picture. Plop said thank you and flew back to his mummy and daddy. A man with a telescope showed me the stars, Plop told them. He says dark is wonderful. That morning, Plop had his supper in bed, and then, like a real night bird, he slept right through the day. When Plop woke, it was almost dark. Now who's a day bird? He shouted at the darkness. Plop looked at his sleepy parents. He wasn't going to hang about waiting for them. He might be missing something. There they are, the sleepy parents. And there's Plop wide awake. Plop floated down and landed like a soft white feather. Under the tree, he saw a big black cat. Hello, said the cat. I was just going exploring. Won't you come with me? I would like to, I think, said Plop, but I'm afraid of the dark. But dark is beautiful, said the cat. Look around you. Plop looked. The moon had risen. Everything was bathed in its white light. Moonlight is magic, said the cat. Come with me and I will show you the nighttime world of cats and owls. Will you come? Yes, I will, said Plop. And there's Plop talking to the black cat. You can only just see the black cat. Can you see it? Because he's so dark and it's nighttime. A bit like Oscar and Charlie. The cat took Plop up to the rooftops and they looked down over the sleeping town. This is my world, said Plop. I am a night bird after all. And this is only one sort of night, said the cat. There are lots of other kinds, all beautiful. Thank you for showing me, said Plop. I must go now and tell my mummy and daddy. Good night, said the black cat, and many, many good nights. And there's the sleeping town. Plop flew straight back to his tree. Well, said Mummy. Plop took a deep breath. The small boy said dark is exciting. The old lady said dark is kind. The campfire boy said dark is fun. The little girl said dark is necessary. The man with the telescope said dark is wonderful. And the black cat said dark is beautiful. And what do you think, Plop? Asked his mummy. Plop looked up at his parents with twinkling eyes. I think, he said, dark is super. And there are the 3 owls. Then Plop took off to go hunting in the dark. Mr. and Mrs. Barn Owl on each side and Plop in the middle. There they are, flying off into the night sky. And Plop's no longer afraid of the dark because he's an owl. Isn't that a lovely story? I hope you enjoyed it. And see you again next time. Bye for now.